Hey, if you missed the Google Meet sessions this week, I want you to know where we are heading. So, we have been looking at video, and we've been looking at composition and how to shoot good shots. I would like you to actually execute that by getting a good shot for me. All you're required to get is one good shot and it's due by the end of next week. It's part of a one-line shot sequence. So, you're going to start by planning out next week your 2 one-line shot sequences, and by the end of the week you'll need to turn in the video pieces that you could use to put together for those sequences. So this assignment is about brainstorming ideas for that. So let me give you some details on this one-line shot sequence. As a reminder, it will consist of 1 original shot and then 2 additional supporting shots, or 1 depending on what it needs. So I have a couple of examples which I have attached to the assignment in Google Class. So click these YouTube links and watch the examples. I'm not going to play them here, but one is I just say one line. I say worst case scenario, we use coffee cream for milk. And as you can see in this picture, I have 3 jugs of coffee cream, milk with a little bit left, and I show you one additional picture where at the stores the milk shelves are empty. So that's 2 pictures really required. One where I'm saying worst case scenario, the other where I show why I would say the worst case scenario, because there's no milk in the stores. This garden one down here is on the bright side. So on the bright side, I'm going to have a bountiful garden this year, is what I say, the one line. And then I support that with a picture of my garden looking good. Now, why do I have a bountiful garden this year? Because I have more time to spend in the yard. So an additional 3rd shot would help that better by actually showing that I have more time to spend in the yard. So I don't know what I'd do for that, like a school calendar where I'm marking out days that I don't have to actually go to the building. I don't know. So those are 2 demo videos that you can see. I've also put together some example plans where you can get more ideas, and I'll share those with you when you need to start your planning. But right now you're trying to brainstorm ideas. So just remember, for your shot sequence, you need 1 A-roll shot where you state your point. So I give you 3 prompts. Worst case scenario, on the bright side, or what I've learned since COVID is, and then a B-roll supporting shot, which shows you learning it, or you actually acting out that worst case scenario, showing why that worst case scenario matters, or you showing the bright side. How will you shoot this, you may be wondering? Well, most of us have a smartphone, and so that's the easiest way. But if you don't, digital camera, those, people used to get those all the time. You may still have one around the house. Those usually shoot video, and you can just plug them into your computer and import the video. A computer camera, you could screen record your acting it out. Position, if it's a laptop or Chromebook, you could position the camera however you want and just screen record. Get some shots. So that's another option. How do you submit the footage? That's what the other assignment for this week is about. It's about taking you through the process of submitting the footage. So there are 3 ways you can submit it. You can email it to cturner1@mesquiteisd.org, but it probably won't send because it may be a big file. Really, it should be no longer than 30 seconds because that's all you're going to use. You could upload it to Google Drive and then send the link to me, or you could upload it to the assignment where I'm asking you to turn in your footage. So those are the 3 ways, but depending on what media you are using to get your video, you may run into trouble along the way. So I'd like you to get a sample video of you saying, I can record video footage, and turn it in, and then tell me the process through the Google form that you went through to do that. And that's a quick, easy assignment for you this week. How will you edit it? Don't worry about editing. No editing will be required from home unless you want to edit it. If you want to edit it, please don't add music because I'd like to splice the best of ours together and publish them in Mosquito Bite News, and if there's music on some and not on others, or it clashes, it's not going to be great. So without music. But please still turn in your original footage. Okay, so for brainstorming, remember when you're brainstorming, try to be humorous or try to point to something that's meaningful to somebody about COVID. Don't make light of others' pains, though. So, I was going to link something here that helped. In the process of brainstorming, think about what's changed, and then ID the good side for on the bright side, or the worst case, or what you've learned about it. So for example, I have to do schoolwork at home. So some questions you could think about to come up with ideas for on the bright side. What prep do you not have to do? On the bright side, my commute to school doesn't require shoes. What restrictions do you not have to be concerned with that you used to? So it could be a dress code restriction. It could be having to wake up at a certain time. What do you normally get to do what do you get to do that you normally wouldn't? So maybe you get to go outside for breaks or something like that. You can have sweet tea at 2 o'clock. That's me. I'm missing senior stuff is a bad thing. So you'll probably, worst case scenario with that. Worst case scenario, we have prom on Google Meets. Worst case scenario, we have senior breakfast without green eggs and ham because there's no eggs, so worst case scenario, we meet at homecoming for senior breakfast or something. But how could you put that on video? So with whatever idea you think, could you get some seniors together to act out that on video? I don't know. People are hoarding things, so that's kind of a worst case scenario. Toilet paper. This is a wealth of worst case scenario ideas. What can you use in place of these products? Toilet paper, paper goods, bottled water, meat. So worst case scenario, I write all my school notes on last year's notebook paper, on last year's spirals, the backside, something like that. What will you have to do without them? With bottled water, worst case scenario, I refill it in the pond in my backyard, that puddle. That's not good. But just think of how you could replace those. That can lead you to worst case scenario ideas. So here are some other areas that you could use to try to think of: baking materials, cereal, wipes, closures. So what if you want to take somebody out on a date? Worst case scenario, you make the food at home. Well, on the bright side, I've learned to be a good chef. On the bright side, my sister can cook, whatever you want to say. Store clerks. Oh, athletes. If you're a tennis player, you could say on the bright side, tennis is a social distance sport, and show a shot of you just hitting to somebody else and then shot of them receiving, and you guys are way far apart, like more than 6 feet, so you're good. Store clerks on the bright side, we sell essentials. Remember, if you're more specific, it's more interesting. So try not to keep it simple, like, I don't have to shave. I get to sleep in. Be more specific, like, I wake up when I can no longer stay comfortable in bed or something like that. So as specific as you can be, the more interesting. But just make sure whatever idea you have, you can put some shots with it. As far as since COVID, I've learned there are so many things you can use in place of toilet paper, as long as you don't flush them. So just flash some pictures of other things that you can use in place of toilet paper. School meals are a hot commodity, so you actually have to show people lining up for the school meals for that one. My sister takes 4.5 hours to use the computer for her schoolwork. My brother takes 3.8, so it kind of brings out the fact that you have to share computer time. Or here's one. Pick out something that you think isn't essential or is essential, and it, they label it as not, and so you can point out the differences between. Should that be essential? So haircuts aren't essential. You show a haircut place closed, but coffee is. You show Starbucks with a line or something like that. So those are some ideas to help inspire you. I'd like you to come up with your own. And here's our outline for this week. Review shot composition has already been posted. 4 questions. Just review that site. It's a cool site. Submit your brainstorm ideas. We just went over some ideas on that. Come up with 3 original responses. You could use the same one on the bright side over and over again, or you could use worst case scenario over and over again if you're good at thinking of those. Just try to think of some good ones. And then I can turn in a video file. So that's all for this week. For next week, we will be turning in some shots and turning in the plan. So by the end of this week, I'll probably put the plan thing there so you can kind of see where this is going. and I'll give you more details and some conference time on that if you need and have questions. One more thing I may not have showed you. I have been gathering some clips of the shortages at stores and stuff. So I'm sharing this folder with you so that you can access this and you can use this in your video if you would like. So don't feel like you have to go out. This can be your B-roll. I still need you to record that one A-roll line where you're saying something about it. So you could look through this folder and get some inspiration on, oh, I'm going to talk about the baked goods being gone. So worst case scenario, we have to cook everything. Worst case scenario, I don't eat bread until summer. Worst case scenario, I lose a few pounds because all the sweets are gone. I don't know. So this is here for you. So you can browse through here. You can get some ideas on what topics you could do, what shots you could do. On the bright side, I have time to do repairs at my house. That's why everybody's at Lowe's nowadays. So I've taken up too much of your time now. I was hoping this would be a quick video. But if you do have any questions, remember you can email me, post comments. I'm happy to answer and give you a good response that can help you along. So I look forward to seeing what you can put together, and I look forward to your ideas.